Uh, Hello, everyone. Welcome to On the Bench. I am back. Uh, I'm joined today with Abby, our president. We've
Hello.
got Josh Brown, our vice president.
Hello.
There's obviously myself, and we have Josh Brackstone as well.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Today is just a committee one. We will get guests again. The cycle is restarting, but don't worry. Today is just a committee one, and hopefully you enjoy this one. So let's get kicked off straight off the bat. We had game week 21. How did everyone's teams do? And more importantly, how did everyone's fantasy teams do as well? Yeah.
Should we start with Southampton? Because that's controversial. That is a controversial.
Right.
I think that's
Yeah,
probably
I'm-
the best to start with.
Right.
So,
There's some noise.
the Pavs fire alarm's going off.
Right. Yeah. Southampton. I'm actually fuming. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm wearing the top today because I couldn't when we played, and I'm wearing it to show my respect to the club because we should have won that game and we were fully robbed. I'm disgusted with VAR. What is going on? 1-0 loss. Ross Barkley scored. It was Ross Barkley. 1-0 loss to Aston Villa because apparently it touched his thigh first. Who cares? He was still going on target after it hit the thigh, and he saved it. Bloody hell! We've got a new Luis Suarez goalkeeper sort of scenario here. He might as well have put the gloves on himself. Honestly, he stopped a certain goal. It's a joke. Give us the penalty. And I can't even remember the armpit being offside. Since when do you score with your armpit?
This is the furthest point of your body.
It's stupid.
No,
it should be what you score with. It's not. He didn't gain any advantage via that.
Also needs to be
It's-
clear and obvious.
Yeah,
It looked
it's
very
not clear and
unclear
obvious.
and not obvious for.
I
Yeah.
just don't even know how the linesman put his flag up to notice that.
I think
He's got eagle,
I think what they
he's
should
got
do-
eagle eyes. It's a joke.
they should change the way VAR is. So it's kind of like how it is a bit in the NFL, where they have really thick lines, and if the lines like intersect, then it's offside. Whereas if the lines are like touching like that, then it's not. That would probably be a way better way of doing it.
I just think like it used to be that the striker gets the benefit of the doubt, and that's just gone. It's not happening anymore. The rules for VAR are stupid. The fact that they have to get the seam of the armpit to get him offside. If he was wearing a tighter shirt, he would have been onside. That's all I'm saying. That it's a joke.
I mean, I couldn't
I'm
believe it
disappointed.
either. I was watching
I'm
it live as
disappointed.
well.
I'm extremely
man.
disappointed with that game.
I agree. I don't understand like what benefit you gain from that. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna score with my armpit. Yeah, it's really gonna make a difference. No, it's not.
It's
If you imagine-
how
It's
how
stupid.
Mike Dean was the VAR ref, and he clearly can't use technology. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I
He
hate
should-
my team.
I'm just disappointed. The fact that because it's skimmed his thigh first. His arm's still there, bro. His arm's stretched out to the full length, and it smacked him on the hand. I don't care where he's moving. He's moving towards the ball. His hand's going like that. He's in the position a goalkeeper should be in. It's actually a joke.
He just did Emi Martinez's dirty work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. And it's like, how are we gaining an advantage from a little armpit, little seam being a millimetre offside, and then they're gaining a massive advantage by him saving the goal, and he's not even meant to be touching it with his hand. Oh, I'm just fuming.
I'd be fuming.
I think after this season, the clubs should hold a massive meeting about VAR. Goodbye, get it gone. Don't care anymore. I don't like it.
Nah, I don't think it should go because the thing
It
is,
won't
it'll go. The thing
It
is,
won't
it'll
go.
go. It will go, and then something will happen, and everyone will be like, "Oh, VAR should have been there. VAR would have called this out, called that out." The thing is, they don't call out anything, so it doesn't really make a difference. But people will still say it.
We look at cricket, for example, they have this technology where they can see if the ball's gonna. Do you know when they do that thing where they see if the ball's gonna actually hit the stumps or anything like that? If we had that in football in that game, I'm not being funny. They could have done it for the handball, and they would have seen it's going in the goal. Goodbye.
It seems if it was just showed, it just seems if you just showed the shot rising up above the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally. I'm just disappointed.
It's just not fair.
And it's not. That's not fair at all. It's a complete. It ruins the game completely. We were all over them. I'm not being funny. They had a terrible game. Aston Villa played terrible, except for the goal. They played awful. We controlled the game. We had most of the possession, everything. The fact that VAR has overturned those decisions, it's actually a joke. Oh.
Because regardless if it hit his thigh or not, his hand was out there, and he had the intention to stretch out, regardless if it hit the thigh. I mean, I didn't even see it hit the thigh, if I'm completely honest.
I did go to the replay, and it only just hit it
slightly.
It made it go up like that much.
But still his intention was to stretch out his arm, and I think that should have been taken under consideration because it was so blatant, and I couldn't even the commentators were like, "Oh, that's a penalty. That's a penalty."
It's a penalty. It's a handball.
Yeah, the only problem is though, it'll go back to the first game week where Ruben Koch was penalised for a handball where it hit his thigh and then hit his arm. His arm was like that kinda, and it just hit him.
They can't constantly change the rules throughout a season because it just doesn't. It's not consistent. Like the same decisions aren't being made throughout the season. And I think it's just a bit of a joke, especially. I haven't seen Southampton properly affected by VAR until that game, and it's two goals that are gone. We've lost 3 points because VAR can't do its job properly.
Yep, true. That is
or it's doing its job properly too much to the point where it's a bit of a joke that bit of its sleeves offside.
That's not doing the job properly at all.
No, it was like Bamford at Crystal Palace though. Exact same thing happened. Exact same thing happened
with the ball.
Yep, and they like that down the armpit again, and it's like, I mean, you can score with your shoulder.
Yeah, but when somebody's stretching out their armpit, it's not in line anymore. Look, my armpit's there and my seam's there. You can't go off the shirt seam because that's not where that player's armpit is because he's stretching. The shirt moves. You've got to have a set thing. You can see a player's shoulder, fair enough. Because it's just always out there. But the armpit, it stretches out. It's just a stupid place to decide that's offside.
Technically, your shoulder is where your armpit is, though. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
where my shoulder ends is here, and that's and then my armpit is there as well. Technically, if you
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So if you took it off his shoulder, that would probably be onside then by that little centimetre.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If a ball gets whipped in, you're not really gonna go and try and shoulder it, are you? You're more so gonna go with your head and just lean in for it.
Every part of the body that the striker scores, I think the rule should be whatever he scored with. If it's onside, then he's unless fair enough, a whole half of his body's offside. But if say he scored with his foot, obviously. Say obviously that foot wasn't offside, and neither was the other foot. Say both feet were onside. He scored with his foot. Both feet have to be onside. I think that should be the rule. If he scores with his head, is his head onside? If he scores with his shoulder, is his shoulder onside?
Yeah, the thing is, head is a weird one because you could be leaning over a player though. That's the thing. I don't think head should really count too much.
Yeah, I think it should be both feet. It shouldn't be anything to do with your armpit. What's leaning gonna cause an advantage of? You're more likely to fall over if you're leaning too far.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got to keep yourself balanced. They're not going to be leaning to the point where they're gaining any sort of advantage over any of those players.
Well, I mean, Harry Kane does every time it's an aerial. He leans into the player.
So dangerous. He does it intentionally as well.
I'm so happy that he did it and he got injured. I'm so happy that happened. I knew and I knew it was going to happen at some point. And there you go. He's injured. And I'm happy about that.
Again, with Harry Kane, this is my main reason why I think Daddy Ings is better. is because when Danny Ings gets injured, he goes out for a short period, comes back, scores goals. He should have added another goal to his tally. Saturday. He should have scored 2 actually, because he would have scored that penalty. Let's be honest. It's Danny Ings. He's not missing. And then Harry Kane. He's out. He's out for a while. Bye bye. See you in a bit, mate.
Like they were kind of screwed now. He was their only solid striker they had. Now they've got to play. Now they have to find someone to play.
They've already dropped down a place without him.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. They've still got a game of hand on the person in 5th now, which is West Ham, but screwed it. They've got Chelsea next, and that Chelsea are going to beat them.
Let's talk about Chelsea, shall we?
Yeah,
finally.
Swiftly moving on.
Moving on. We finally won a Premier League game. Well, since we started this. But yeah, no, I thought easy. Burnley didn't have a single shot on target. Their only shot was in the 93rd minute. They were poor. We were good. 2 goals from defenders. Azpilicueta ran like 76 yards to, there we go.
I'm just looking at it, and it's got like, these are the shots all in white.
Yeah.
And then you look at, and then it's all in grey because they've had none.
Oh.
Yeah. They had one header by Tarkowski later on, but I mean, there's no point counting that as a shot. But no, Azpilicueta, first one, brilliant overlapping run from his own half, probably his own box, finished that very well. And then Alonso controlled it brilliantly and smashed it into the roof of the net. I mean, for him to come in after not playing since September, you would have never thought that he hadn't played for that long. And I thought Mount played really, really well. And Callum Hudson-Odoi were our 2 best players. Tammy came off at half-time. I think it might have been a slight injury. Put Werner up front. He had a good header, which was saved by their goalkeeper. Pope kept out loads of chances. They weren't the best shots, but he still kept them out. But no, I thought we looked very well. Haven't conceded a goal in the 2 games he's been here. And yeah, now we've got Spurs, and I think it's looking quite positive with the 3 at the back at the moment, and I'm quite happy.
Can I just say you missed out something? You missed out. You said Vern had a good header, but you missed out. He tripped over his own legs as well.
He didn't. He kicked the ball against his own foot.
So he kicked the ball against his foot. He just took his eye off the ball.
He done some good things, to be fair. And I think it's hard when a player of his quality that we saw when he first arrived, he was banging in goals left, right, and centre. I think it's hard, and I really hope that he does kick on, because if he doesn't, I think Tuchel won't give him these chances that he's given him in the last 2 games. And I think against Spurs and we're at their stadium, so it's a lot bigger pitch than Stamford Bridge. I think Werner, if he does play, which I think he will, he needs to exploit that, and I really hope he starts kicking on, because as I said, I think he might look to start Tammy every week and not play Werner. So
it's just the 1 goal thing, kind of.
And thankfully, Chelsea have helped push Burnley towards the way I want them.
Yeah,
we all might want them
in the bottom 3.
I want Burnley out. I want them out.
I'm not being funny. You can't score 13 goals in 20 games for a Premier League club and not get relegated that season. They've conceded twice as many goals as they've scored.
They're very poor. I mean, they had a good spell in the first half. I mean, when I say a good spell, I mean they kept the ball for about a few minutes. But we had about 70% possession or something. It was quite easy, to be fair. They didn't, as you know by the stats and the shots, nothing happened. So
Manchester City
happy days
have conceded the same amount of goals as they have scored.
That just says something, doesn't it? They're so negative. The only thing I did was hope that a corner would come to them.
They're not negative. They're boring.
Negative,
boring. To be fair, City's defense is sick. The moment Ruben Diaz has come in, they've been insane. Like that guy has changed it. Like, he is
such a good defender. I rate him so much.
He is the only City player to play every single minute at the moment in the Premier League. The only one.
He deserves it.
He's brilliant.
He does. He's amazing. I love him. He's
also with Burnley and that Man City comparison, they're playing each other next. So I can't wait till Burnley not score anymore.
But yeah, I mean, I've got 5.
Oh, I hope they concede more. Honestly,
We could have got more, to be honest. Callum Hudson-Odoi hit the post.
Who is it? Fulham and West Brom must be looking at Burnley and thinking, how are they above us? Well, West Brom will ignore that they've conceded 50, but Fulham must be looking at Burnley and thinking, how on earth are they above us? I didn't realise they conceded 50.
Big Sam doing bits, isn't he?
Tyler, I take it back. Tyler. They are the worst team in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare it, Sheffield United just lose to the odd goal unless they play Man United. But apart from that, they're completely fine.
They don't lose to Chelsea. McGoldrick always scores. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but we still win. Well, maybe not last season, but this season.
23. I'm guaranteeing it. David McGoldrick will score, and if he doesn't score, okay, then Chelsea will get top 4. Because a game or a season where Chelsea did not concede to David McGoldrick is a season where they will perform.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
We'll see what happens then.
Jesus.
Every season where you haven't conceded to David McGoldrick, you've done well. Every season you've conceded to him, you haven't won anything.
They've only been in the league one season, so
exactly.
That's the second one.
By the way, I just said West Brom scored 17 goals as well.
Yeah, 17 to 50 conceded. It's a madness. They're on minus 33 goal difference.
Oh god.
Minus 33.
The closest to that is minus 22, which is Sheffield, who are bottom.
How are they in the Premier League? What?
I mean, they're not going to be for much longer, are they?
Not much longer. What about Man U then?
Yeah, 0-0 against Arsenal.
Yeah, 0-0 against Arsenal. Could have been either way, blah, 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 all this. Lacazette, great shot. Pepe, awful as always. United, shaky at the back as always with Maguire, never going to work out well. Fred, pretty solid. Not much creativity up top as always. Don't know why now. I think it's just because we're playing big teams. We're just not creative. That's it. But pretty much it. Yeah, it's just a boring game.
Matt Tominay had a bit of a rumbly belly.
Yeah, he did have a bit of rumbly belly, but it's all right. He's too saucy. I'm telling you, he's too saucy. That's why
he's had too much sauce, and he's now shilling it out.
It's like Gucci Mane says. Gucci Mane says a guy needs sauce, but sometimes the guy lives in too much sauce, so he needs to get rid of the sauce.
Too much sauce.
My God.
My day.
Get rid of the sauce. He's got too much. What can I say?
Oh my.
I mean, I watched that game and I thought Pepe actually played all right, to be fair. He had a lot of chances, but he didn't score them.
Don't talk to me about him.
2 shots, both off target.
Yeah, they're both off target, but I didn't think he had one of his worst games. I think he played okay. And in terms of your team, I think overall you were probably the better team, and I think having Cavani up front, actually he's playing quite well. And there was a chance later on where him and someone else got on each other's way. I thought that was a bit unlucky. And then when you brought Martial on for Matt Tominay, I thought you dominated for the next 15 minutes after that happened.
The thing is,
but yeah,
it's weird because like when we don't have Cavani on, we somehow managed to get goals. I don't know why. It's weird. Like other than the Southampton game, every time we haven't played Cavani, apart from I think it was who else did we play? I'm trying to remember. We played someone else as well, and then Cavani also scored in that one. But like most of our games without Cavani, we end up scoring a goal. And then when we have Cavani on, we don't score as many. But the thing is, like, off the ball, Cavani is undoubtedly our best striker. Like his runs off the ball.
I agree.
But on the ball, I don't know why it just doesn't seem to click. Like something needs to be found out there. Because Cavani scored against Southampton, and then he got an assist.
He won't be doing that again.
Remember what it is. I mean, I'm hoping he does.
No,
it seems if it goes the exact same way again. If you lot go 2-0 up and we come back,
you're losing that game.
Oh, we're not gonna lose.
You're losing that game. I promise you. I promise you, you're losing.
Should tell you why I have faith that we're gonna win.
No.
Because Bruno Fernandes is not my captain anymore in fantasy, so he will do something.
He's my captain, and he's been performing poor as my captain, so he can stay there.
Every time I take a player out or I uncaptain them, they always perform. So I
Do you
was
want
like,
to know how confident I am?
so I'm captain Bruno Fernandes, and maybe it could work.
Danny Ings, captain. Confirm. There you go.
You've
How
just made,
confident I am.
you've made a mistake.
I've not made any mistake. I've made no mistake.
I haven't looked at mine.
I changed
Actually, no.
yours.
To be fair, I did make a mistake. I'm going to give it to our actual captain, James Ward-Prowse. There you go.
Are you home or away?
We're home.
Oh, okay.
So we're
I'm
gonna
pretty
win.
sure. Are we home? No, surely not.
I think you are. Actually,
No,
thought
I think
you
Man
might be
United are
away,
at home.
actually.
Man United's at
We're
home.
away. We're away. Yeah, we were at home the last time. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're gonna.
Then we're gonna probably draw.
Old Trafford is no longer a fortress.
It's not.
It isn't. It's
Your
not
your away record is brilliant
How's your
recently.
how's your home record been?
awful.
Lost to Sheffield.
There we go.
It's like I said. So if we do home record, we'd be sat like just home record. We'd just be sat 7th in the league. If we did it based off away, we'd be top and 4 points clear.
Wow.
Like it just shows you like Old Trafford is not a fortress anymore.
No, it is not.
It's not.
But we're good at winning away, so it's all right.
Yeah, it's true. How about Reading? We watched that live on Sky Sports.
Yeah, here we go. Look at him. He's well happy.
Oh, first half.
Friday night kickoff.
Domination. Dominated that first half. It's the one time where I thought we didn't have to go into the game. We started not fully out the blocks, but we started off well. First goal came from a Michael Elise corner. Tom McIntyre heads it back in, deflects back out to him, volleys it in. Big boy Joshy Lawrence, absolutely love that man. Taps it home. Then another Michael Elise free kick. Begovic probably needs to do better with that. Parries it straight into Tom McIntyre, taps it home, and then Lucas Shaw sends Steve Cook for a hot dog, and he sends him, tucks it past Begovic. 3-0 up, and it was pretty much game over by then. Bournemouth looked a bit better in the second half. They brought David Brooks on, but they scored a goal that probably should have been dealt with better because João and Semedo made a gap in the wall for Stanislas to score a free kick from.
He's pretty decent.
That was
I
fine.
saw that.
So after that, it was pretty much game over by that point. So nice 3-1 win.
I didn't think it was going to be dominant. I thought it was going to be like quite close because Bournemouth have scored so many this season. Genuinely, I thought it was going to be a close game.
They're in a massive poor form.
They are.
Like they've lost to Derby. Did they lose to as well? I think they lost to maybe Rotherham. Let me check.
I thought they drew against.
They've recent games in the Championship. The last Championship win was at the start of the month, start of last month in January. Beat Stoke 1-0, and then they drew 1-0 with Bournemouth. Lost 1-0 to both Luton and Derby, and then got smashed by us.
Smashed.
Very nice.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't say smashed. I was like, wait, they won by the same amount last time, though.
Yeah. That put us into fourth for one day until Brentford's hosted Wickham, and that was a smashing. I'll tell you that. So I mean, it was 2-2 at half time, and they ended up scoring 5 goals in the second half. Brentford's absolute domination. Wickham's that classic meme. Stop, he's already dead. They just kept scoring more and more.
Stop, he's already dead.
Everyone knew the moment they went up, they were going to go back down. But they didn't care because they finally got up into the Championship.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, good week for us. Who have we got? We got Stoke next weekend away.
Please beat them. I hate Stoke. Please beat them.
I think we'll beat them. I think they're in not great form as well. So hopefully we do.
I really don't like Stoke. Just a passion. Passion of hatred for Stoke City. Goodbye. I hope they get relegated.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But...
Actually, I hope they stay where they are. Lincoln get promoted, and then I'm just going to go to the Lincoln game. And they'll be like,
days.
Stoke.
Yeah.
I hate them.
I'm also talking about Lincoln. They dramatically lost 1-0 to Accrington, which, as I said, as we discussed last. That's it. I'm still thinking of the other game. Yeah, that was a really big game to win because Doncaster got a few games in hand, and I saw the goal, I saw the game, and Doncaster's goal was on the attack. The goalkeeper possibly could have done better, but I think it was a good enough shot. And then Lincoln dramatically missed 2 penalties with 2 different people taking them. But to be fair, as Braxton pointed out in the chat, they were 2 very good saves. I mean, the lad caught both of them.
Yeah, Ellery Balcom on loan from Brentford. I watched them. He didn't parry them out. He literally caught both of them. They were in the bottom corner. They've pretty much helped Doncaster try and get up into the automatics there. So great bit of work from Doncaster to get him in, because they've had a few other lone goalkeepers as well. Yeah, and Taylor Richards, another loanee from Brighton. He's been in good form as well. But yeah,
it was a hard one really, because the George Grant, who's captain, missed the first penalty, and he's just signed a new contract extension, so it's not exactly the best present for Lincoln fans for that. And then he was still on the pitch as well for the second one, but then Scully took it, and Scully missed.
Should have given it to Grant. He would have scored the second one.
Imagine if
he would have been
again.
fuming himself.
God.
True, confidence boost, I guess.
If that was you in that situation, let's bear in mind you don't know which way the keeper's going. Where would you have put the penalty? Like, where's your go-to spot?
I always put it in the same corner. I always used to put it in the same corner.
I'm guessing, Abby, you're the same. I'm going to guess you're going bottom right. That's my guessing for you.
Bottom left.
Oh.
I always kick it on the left side because I'm right-footed. So I prefer to it gets that curl rather than the drive. So either top left or bottom left tends to be my place. The one time I tried in a cup final, I thought, let's just mix it up. And I kicked it straight down the middle because the goalie always dives the way that I kicked it because I played against her before. And I missed.
Oh.
I mean, I did end up scoring after that, but I still missed.
No.
Oh, what about you, man?
Now I learned to never change it because whenever I've changed it, I've missed.
Oh wow. I'm a bottom corner sort of guy. Doesn't matter which. I kind of decide on my gut feeling. I look at the keeper in the eyes, and I say, you're getting done, and I just put it in one of the corners. Bottom one. Right or left doesn't matter. It's going in.
Well, Braxton's a goalkeeper as well. So, which side do you dive to, and which way would you go and shoot?
Well, which way I would go and shoot wouldn't matter because I'd miss. If you've seen me play football, or I think all of you except Dean have seen me play football, and it's dreadful. But as a goalkeeper, I'd always probably go down to my right hand side, so towards the bottom left, because
Same line then, aren't you?
I mean, to be honest, with your luck, Braxton, I don't think it matters which way you dive. You're saving it even if it goes the other way.
There we go.
I'll somehow stick my toe out and
no, it'll hit the post and then bounce towards the line, and then you just accidentally toe it out.
Braxton's one of those. He's like Scott Sterling, where he'll hit the post and hit him in the face and then come back out.
Yeah.
Braxton, that literally sums him up.
Yeah, but I'd always go right hand side because that's the side I prefer diving to. So
fair enough. I would always just bang mine top right. I just love smashing into the top right corner. It'd be like a Jamie Vardy one, but it just won't. It won't go down the middle. It will go down to the right side. I don't know how it does. It just always happens like that whenever I hit it.
Oh my god!
I don't control it. It just goes. Yeah, I just go with it.
Let's have a penalty shootout next time we go to West Common then.
Exactly.
There we go.
Here we go. Braxton in goal, sorted.
I'm like Ford Prowse. I'm better at free kicks than penalties.
Fair play.
It's not wrong
for him, and a penalty is a free kick for him.
I think we know who the free kick taker is in the team then.
I've actually scored a few. I've actually scored. I remember one in particular. I scored from just outside the box once. And then another one, it was on the right-hand side. And I was like, I said to my mate, I'll whip it in like near the back and you like tap it in. Well, I kicked it from about 35 yards on the right-hand side and it just went in. And I was just like, well, I didn't mean to do that, but I'll just act like I did.
Oh, then. See, so you're not. You didn't.
Deed.
You didn't get away. No.
Deed, do you remember on West Common, you were in goal and I scored a free kick bottom left.
Well, that's why I don't go in goal.
See,
Because I'll just stand there and watch it go past me.
To be fair,
What?
it was bottom left, so I don't think you were reaching it.
No, I mean, I wouldn't have dived anyway. Why did
I
you
like-
dive?
every free kick I've put in or whipped in, if someone's got the end of it, they have not put it in the goal. And it's not my fault, it's them. I whipped the ball into Braxton, 5 yards out of the box, and he put it over the bar. That's Braxton, and I gave one to Tao. Tao doesn't header the ball. So what can I do?
Nothing.
Oh my.
Shall we move on to Braxton's topic that he wanted to discuss
Oh
about?
yeah. So we've got 2 topics here. So we got mid-season predictions. Now I've made a nice little A3
Oh.
sheet at the start of the season.
Oh my.
It's got all my EFL predictions, all 92 teams predicted on one sheet. So I'm going to go through what I've said at the start of the season and see what I've changed now. And then you guys can have a discussion about it. So winning the league, I said Man City, and I'm still going to stick with that.
I
Okay,
can
fair.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the best team in the league. I thought Liverpool would have their... No, teams after they win the league usually have a little off season. Like we've seen it with Leicester, you've seen it with Chelsea a few years ago, and Liverpool are just doing that now. And then relegation zones are interesting. So I've got West Brom and Fulham. I think West Brom definitely. We just discussed how they conceded 50 goals. Fulham, yeah, probably Fulham as well.
Yeah,
They
I
play-
think so.
Play quite well. The thing is, Fulham actually play quite well. They just, whatever they do just doesn't seem to come off for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because there's a gap that's starting to open up between 17th and 18th. And I think Fulham have a game in hand at the moment, but they have to win that. And I think with that gap opening up, as with our fantasy, there's a gap opening up. I think when I saw last week, I haven't checked this week what's happening, but there's a gap, and I think they need to kick on and get these points that they have deserved, but they haven't got. But they need to make it count. And I think if they don't get that happening within the next 5 to 8 games, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And even as they're Chelsea's rivals, I would like them to stay up, but
it's a gap.
I don't think they're going to beat Leicester, West Ham, Everton.
Yeah, it's hard. They've got a gap of 7 points, but it could potentially go down to 4 if they win against Leicester. But I don't see that happening. That's the thing.
They've only won twice this season. They've just been picking up draws. I think they need to convert those draws into wins. That's the main thing.
When they played against us, they were dominant. We had no idea what was going on. Typical United, we conceded straight away. Like, I don't know why we always concede early goals. Said it every time, we always do, and then we pull it back. But even then, like that first half, I was worried we could have gone like 3-0 down to Fulham. They were just insane. They have loads of good players. I just don't think. I don't know. It just doesn't work for them. It's just like one of those was like bad luck or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then let's talk about my final relegation spot. It was West Ham, and that is very, very, very wrong.
Very
Because
wrong.
they're doing really well. And what I thought would happen was David Moyes would have like a really bad season. You know, the morale around the club after Dean Garner went to West Brom.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not that great. Mark Noble even tweeted about it. I thought, yeah, it's looking a bit dire. But Moyes has actually built something.
I would just like to say, I did say Souček was going to score loads of goals, and I was right. He has scored loads of goals.
Same as Danny Ings.
The only problem is, every time he scored, he's either been on my bench or not in my team. He scores when he's on my bench, and then when I take him out, then he scores a brace. So yeah, he won't be scoring for a while because he's back in my team. Just to let all of you know.
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Oh dear.
That's all right. It's fine by me.
Jesus.
So basically, the final spot I'm going to go for is Sheffield United for my season predictions. So Man City winning the league, Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield United all to go down. I don't think either team will catch Brighton.
Yeah, I agree. Who was your top four beginning of the season?
Top four was Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man U.
So Chelsea were
bad.
third.
Chelsea were third.
I think
Not
United.
me. But you never know.
I personally don't think it's about them catching Brighton. It's about them catching Burnley.
I can agree with that. I thought Brighton
Yeah.
were really good last night.
They're not bad,
Really,
yeah.
really good.
I think it's going to be. Obviously, we've got quite a few games left of the season. I think it's going to be obviously Sheffield, West Brom, and then Fulham, or Burnley and Fulham. And I know which way I'd prefer it to sit because I like Fulham.
Yeah, I quite like
I
Fulham.
like Fulham. They got
They've
that new
got-
stadium development as well.
They've got a couple Southampton midfielders. They got Lamina. I think they've purchased them, and they got Harrison Reed. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see him.
I will find the photo of a young Josh Brackstone in a Fulham kit.
Yes, I want to
Josh
see it.
Brackstone in a Fulham kit. I will find it and I will put it on the group chat.
The only
Okay.
reason why I want Fulham to stay up is good for business because I'm a Fulham season ticket holder. So once COVID's finished, I can start selling tickets again on StubHub and make money. That's why it is for me.
Are you one of those touts, are you? You
Yeah,
revealing
I am.
that you're a tout?
Well, I don't personally go to the games and start buying and selling tickets. I'm just one of those that does it online.
Okay. Whatever you say.
It works. Hey, I'm doing it for the community. I'm letting people come and watch games.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to go on to my championship predictions now. So, top two of Norwich and Brentford. I'm sticking with it. That's that. Norwich clear in the league, clear at the top of the league. Start of the season was a bit shaky. They were in mid-table. Now they're clear at the top. So yeah, I'll go that. Brentford also has some game in hands, and I think they're better. I think they're slightly better than Swansea, and will get that automatic place. And it'll be good to see the 50th team in the Premier League, the 50th new team in the Premier League.
I don't think it's
Definitely.
like the bottle.
I don't like Norwich.
No.
I don't like
Yo-yo.
I'm not a fan. Like, fair enough, they have some good youth players in Max Aarons and stuff like that, but my uncle's a Norwich supporter, and I've just never liked them just because of it.
Mine's that lady that just shouts all the time.
The only reason I don't like them is
Ridiculous.
because they're just one of those teams that are a yo-yo. They'll come back up, and I guarantee you next season they'll go back down.
Like West Brom.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like West Brom.
Swansea as well.
Honestly, I'd rather have Bournemouth, Watford, and Brentford all go back up.
Yes.
Bournemouth, Watford, and Brentford go up.
How about
Or-
Reading?
Yeah. I want Sonny Luca in the Prem.
I don't know. I'd rather have teams that can will actually like put up a fight, and I know won't like.
What do you
definitely-
mean? What?
No, I'm not saying
That
that.
sounds
Right,
a bit harsh.
right. I've not seen Reading in the Prem for a while. I've not seen Reading
Oh,
in the
God.
Prem for a while. But I want to see those teams that are going to come up and like, actually put up a fight. Like, obviously, Reading could probably do that, but I know Norwich can't. That's why I don't want Norwich to come up, because they'll just come up and then, like, fair enough, they can win the championship all they want, but they'll come up to the Prem. They'll face the bottom of the Premier League. Like, I don't know who it'll be. It'll be Burnley next year. They'll face Burnley and somehow lose to them 12-0, and that'll be all their goals scored for the whole season.
I think it's hard because I think teams that would give more of a fight are teams that haven't been in the Premier League for a while. And obviously Bournemouth got relegated last year and so did Watford. So I think if you had like Brentford, Reading and possibly Swansea that haven't been in it for a few seasons, I think that would bring more of a fight than, as you said, Norwich and that. But I think it'd be really nice to have Reading back in the championship, in the Premier League, because it has been a while. And I remember watching them when they used to be in it. And I think it'd be a nice refresher for football to have some new teams that haven't been in there for a while. So, I mean, I'd like Reading to come up. I think it'd be a nice.
If Norwich did go up and they invested right, they didn't invest enough last time. They barely put any good transfers in. If they actually invested well, kept Emi Buendia, maybe got a new striker. Pukki's not now the best striker in the championship.
dropping.
I'd back them to stay up, but it'd be tricky.
No,
They'd need
I think he was overrated in the Premier League.
He was. It's because he started banging in at the start. He got
he banged in a few at the start, and then everyone like raved about him. He got that Player of the Month card on FIFA, and then
'cause he had
after that Player of the Month
goals.
card, he just gone. Where was
Yeah.
he?
tailed off.
He's
Just
been-
tailed off.
Yeah, because the
He's-
thing is, he had 5 goals in 4 weeks, all
Yeah.
4 games technically. So it was like he had to get Player of the Month at that point. You
Yeah,
can't just come into the Prem for the first time ever and get 5 goals in 4 games and not get Player of the Month.
It's-
But yeah, after that he did drop.
I just don't see Norwich. They don't seem to like do anything. Like they come up, but then I don't hear any like major transfers that are going to help them stay up. It just seems to be like, oh yeah, we've made money off winning the championship and stuff like that. We got promoted, made a bit of money off that, and then I don't care if we go back down. We'll just come back up next season and win the championship again. Like,
Yeah.
they're that team that like. There's a few teams that sit between like. So we have the bottom of the Premier League and the first of the Championship, and there's just like a little grey area in between where a few teams
Yeah.
sit, and that is just Norwich City.
Yeah.
They should have their own league.
Norwich City League.
Yeah.
Josh, quick question: the last time Reading were in the Premier League, was that when you had Brian McDermott as your manager?
Indeed, it was. And then we sacked him halfway through it and got Nigel Adkins in.
Because then after
yeah.
you sacked him, then Brian McDermott went to Leeds. I remember that.
What a man.
And then,
That
and after
beautiful
them,
ball.
then they got in after Brian McDermott. I remember Leeds got in Neil Warnock because I remember my dad raging about it. Go, what was he going to bring to the team? And he didn't bring anything.
I think looking at the playoffs, if it does become Norwich and Brentford go up straight away, it's either going to be Watford or Reading. I think come up.
Right, so I'm going to rattle through my playoff predictions from earlier in the year. So I had Watford in third.
Yep.
And then Cardiff, Stoke and Millwall. Those 3 I am removing. Cardiff, I expected a lot of them, but Neil Harris just didn't do a great job. And then it's now Mick McCarthy in charge. Stoke are all right, but they're just probably not good enough for the playoffs. They've got some good names in there, but I just don't think they'll reach it. And then Millwall, they just draw too much. So for the playoffs, I'm going to go in third place. Oh, it doesn't really matter what place they are. I'll just go Swansea, Reading, Watford. Oh, I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to say Middlesbrough. I think Bournemouth will drop out.
You reckon?
Neil Warnock.
Yeah,
I'm not.
No,
I
that's
don't think. I think
I can't,
Jason Tyndall's first managerial stint in charge, I think it will end soon. I think he started off really well, but now he's in this tough patch. I don't think Bournemouth are going to want to stick out with him. I wonder what the owners will do. They'll probably want to get in a manager they think, right, we can get promoted with this manager, and I think it won't work. I think it backfires.
I feel like Bournemouth need a centre back to replace Nathan Ake. I think that's what they realistically need because they haven't been the same without him.
Mm.
They were all right at the start. Like at the start, they were fine because it's like banging in goals perfectly fine. So it didn't really matter as how many they conceded because they were like they had the mentality of like, okay, if we concede 1, we're just going to score 2 more. But at this point now, they can't because even in that Reading game, I know you hate it, but you lost 4-2. It was literally that. Every time you scored, they had scored 2 more. Or obviously at the start, they had scored 2, and then you scored, and then they scored another 2 after that. But yeah.
I'm going to be talking about a bit about Bournemouth later as well.
They need to they need a centre back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I prefer Middlesbrough's chances under Warnock. You know, Warnock is the promotion expert.
What about Blackburn?
I was thinking about that. You know,
they have a game of hand on Middlesbrough.
I like Dak. I think Dak's quite good for them.
I don't know. They've got really good attack, but I think their defense is weak, and they seem to struggle winning against the top 6 in the playoffs. But I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be tight up in the playoff chase. It always is.
Yeah, it is.
And then I'll turn over to the other end of the table, the relegation zone.
Ooh.
Wycombe bottom. Not a surprise.
Correct.
Not surprised.
Sheffield
Correct.
Wednesday 23rd and Rotherham 22nd. That is the relegation zone as it is now.
I reckon it'll stay like that. I don't see
Let
much
me look
change.
at how
There
many
is no one in the
games.
Championship that has scored less than Burnley.
Wait, so
So all the Championship clubs have scored more goals than Burnley.
Czech
Oh,
League One
Sheffield.
as well.
And Sheffield. No. The
yeah, but then
only
the
team,
thing is,
the only team that has scored the least goals, than somebody in the Prem, is Sheffield Wednesday. They've scored less goals than the Fulham and
West Brom.
West Brom, and then we have Derby on the same as those two teams. Everybody else is above 12 and 13.
yeah, the problem is though, is like it's the different defenses realistically in terms of what teams are coming up against. Because it's unfair if you're like, oh yeah, Middlesbrough have scored like, I don't know, for example, 25 goals this season, and then it's like Burnley have only scored 12. Well, the difference is Middlesbrough are playing against defenses with like.
No, don't worry, Burnley will be playing against them in a season or two.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that you can't. It's like you can't really compare it because Burnley are playing against defense with like it's Stone, Diaz, Cancelo, and Zinchenko. You can't compare that to, let's say, I don't know, Reading's defense. We got Liam Moore at the back. Liam Moore for Ruben Diaz does not work.
No.
It's just stuff like that.
I'm making the relegation prediction. I am going to say Wickham and Rotherham, but I bet Sheffield Wednesday to get out, and I'm going to say Birmingham will get relegated.
Birmingham.
Now, the reason this is, I think their squad's all right, but Isaac Karanka's just not doing that well. And Birmingham's track record with managers is sour. They'll just pretty much sack them. They sacked Gary Rowett when he was doing pretty well. Will they stick out with him, or will they try and replace him? And could it backfire? I just think they seem dreadful. They've only won since they beat us, they only won one game, drew one, and then lost 7. It's dire at Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sheffield Wednesday are on a upward trajectory. I think they'll survive even with the points deduction, and I'd back Birmingham to go down.
That's quite a bold one because obviously Birmingham
Yeah,
used to be in the Prem a little while ago, won the League Cup, got themselves in Europe. Remember that, I was watching with my dad. And they're actually a very big club, as are quite a few other teams that have, slowly gone down the league, such as like Sunderland. They're a massive club, and where they are now, I think Birmingham going down will be bad for football as well, because I think they deserve to be where they are. But if they're not performing, then obviously you go down, don't you? But I don't think Harry Kelly will be very happy that you said Rotherham, but because he's a Rotherham fan. He was unlucky a few weeks ago.
Games. They've behind, except for Wickham, they've lost the most games.
I mean, Wickham are poor,
but I think they'll still lose them.
What do you mean Wickham are poor? They have the main man up front.
They don't play him.
By the way,
he
plays some games.
He comes
Yeah.
on.
He played against fucking GK.
Yeah.
He came on as a substitute, I think. No,
Yeah,
not that game. The one after.
The two memes of the Championship.
Yeah.
If Wickham beat Birmingham in the week, they've got them tomorrow. I am inclined to say Birmingham will go down if Wickham beat Birmingham.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much it's going to be.
I think Fenwell's going to score a hat trick now.
I mean, let's be honest. KSI was right. He said informed Ak and Fenwell makes the Bees team a better team, and I mean Wickham went out. They got Ak and Fenwell. They've gone out. So he's right. He is right.
Yeah. Got promoted with Wimbledon as well.
He did.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to rattle through League 1 and League 2 because I did them. I put Peterborough and Portsmouth to be promoted. I think that'll be Lincoln and Doncaster now. Both teams are very good. I back Lincoln.
I hate Portsmouth.
I reckon it will be Lincoln. Hull and Lincoln.
I think
you
we've got
saw how
this game is in
you saw
hand.
how aggressive I got when we went to that Lincoln match, Abby.
I did.
I was fuming.
I can't remember the score though.
We lost 2-0.
Yeah,
They conceded in the 45th minute and the 90th minute.
Yeah.
Off set pieces.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Penalty and a free kick. Free kick and a
No.
penalty.
Oh, wow.
2 free kicks.
2 free kicks, wasn't it?
2 free kicks, yeah. 2 free kicks.
Did you try and fight the Portsmouth fans with your Southampton shirt on?
I'm not be. I'm right. I'm going to be truthful with you here, Braxton, mate. If I was wearing this shirt near Pompey fans, I would not be recording this podcast today. I'd probably be in a gutter, dead somewhere.
Okay.
If you step into Pompey like territory with a Southampton top on, you're gone.
See you later.
They're aggressive. They hate.
I'll come back you. I'll buy a Danny Ings shirt and I'll come back you.
Do it. We'll stroll into Portsmouth.
Well, me and
all
Braxton
of us.
will just continue with this podcast then in the future.
Yeah.
We'll find a new treasurer and VP.
So next week there will be 2 new guests. Then that's what we're hearing.
I'll record it for the podcast. I'll take the laptop with me and record myself in Pompey with just this on.
No,
and I'll just shout Pompey or rubbish in a more naughty way. Oh, I don't like it.
Playoffs then. Playoffs for League One. I predicted Sunderland, Hull, Oxford, and Fleetwood.
Mm-hmm.
It's so tight in the playoff chase.
That's not a bad shout because Oxford have bounced back a lot.
And they're catching up. They are catching
They've
up.
won the last 7, I think, back to back.
Game in hand over Sunderland.
Yeah, and I think Oxford will make them playoffs.
I quite like Oxford.
Yeah, I lived there for a year and I used to go watch them quite often.
They have a few games to play as well, and they're only 3 points behind.
Yeah.
Sunderland, and they have a game of hand on them.
The only reason why I like Oxford is because they produce Kamal Roof, who I've absolutely loved. He's a great player.
He's good.
That's the reason why I like Oxford.
They also took on Lundstrom as well. They signed Lundstrom from Everton, and he was their captain for the year that I lived there. And then at the end of the season, he went to Sheffield United, and I was just like, he's a good player. He's a really good player.
Very good for Oxford United.
So yeah, I'd say Oxford get in the playoffs. I'd say Peterborough and Portsmouth they're currently in the playoffs, and I'd say they'd stay in the playoffs. And Hull will be in the playoffs.
What do you mean Portsmouth going to lose?
How about Charlton?
No.
Down.
Sorry, Callum. I know you're watching this. I don't back Charlton. But the teams below them have games in hand. Teams above them have games in hand. I don't back them. I'm sorry, Callum.
Oh dear.
He's going to be very upset after hearing this.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm going to put myself in the same boat with Braxton. I don't back him either. I don't think really anyone backs him to go up, or I don't think anyone backs him to even go down. I reckon they're just going to finish mid-table.
Callum said it himself. The club owner uses them as just a selling club. They just sell the players for whatever offer they get, make money.
Yeah.
Right. Relegation zone. Relegation zone of League One. I had Rochdale, Northampton, Shrewsbury, and Burton. 2 of them I think will get. Oh no, wait.
Not much shout, to be fair.
1 of them I think will get relegated. Definitely Burton, because they are awful.
They are.
Wigan I think will get relegated.
Yep.
Swindon I think will get relegated. And Wimbledon. That's going to be my new relegation zone.
I think it's going to be. I think the closest thing
now,
I think the only team that have a shot of getting out of the relegation zone for them is Wigan.
With the games in hand.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see Wigan down in League One.
Yeah,
it's bad, isn't it?
Being leaders too. They don't.
Everyone knows they won the FA Cup in like 2015. Can't remember. They won the FA Cup and then go down into Championship, and then I think they went straight down again after their Championship run.
All I'm saying is they've been playing awful since a certain striker left.
Will
Greig's on fire.
It's hard because I don't know if you guys have read all the things about them that's happened with the new owners trying to take over. Then they got deducted points. That's the reason why they went down last season. Otherwise, they had a really good push towards the end of the season, but they just didn't make it because they got deducted points. But it's quite an interesting story to read. I've read quite a lot about like the back documents, the things about the owners on the shirt, own the betting company, and then all that went on. It's quite an interesting thing to read about. And as you said, Roshan, then when the FA Cup, then coming down, it's hard to see that investors have like been quite controversial for quite a big club like Wigan in that regards with the Prem and all things like that. And I think it's going to be hard for them to even bounce back. I think it's just going to be a downward slump until they get some money projected back into the club, which is legally right. And I think that happens with a lot of clubs, but
Yeah,
I think they will
loads
go
of
down.
clubs
It's
some
a
money
shame
out.
because they had David Whelan and then his son David Sharp, and they were doing all right, even though they were at the wrong end of the table. They had Paul Cook in, and then they got these Chinese owners in, and then all of a sudden they just like disappeared. They just disappeared, and they went into administration. They still have administrators there. They're still trying to get a takeover sorted. It is an awful situation at such a,
But
you
the
know,
thing is, what
quite a good
if you're
club.
a club owner? If you're like a club owner, you need to know that you're not gonna make any money until you put money in to get obviously players and stuff and to win something. Like, there's no point trying to siphon money at the club because you're only going to do
reward.
It's only short term. Even if you do it, you siphon money for a bit. Your team doesn't perform. You don't get as much money next year. What's the point?
I think it's hard because he's been the owner for so long, and it's been in the family. And when you want to try and sell it and it doesn't succeed, and now you're in administration, I think it's hard to see that, and it's going to be hard for them to get back up. But unfortunately, as Braxton said, sometimes it's the way it is, and a lot of teams are in that situation. But hopefully, the EFL and the Prem will help clubs keep going after we get back to normality, because I know Lincoln have lost a lot of money, but not as much as other teams. But hopefully we'll all be back to normal soon.
The thing
The
is,
bottom of
it's like,
the Football League. Oh, do you want to say something, Roshan? Go on.
no, you might as well carry on. I was just going to chat a little bit of rubbish. You might as well carry on.
Okay.
Fair enough.
League 2, the bottom of the Football League. What are my predictions? I'm going to start from the bottom this time. I'm going to change it up.
Oh, nice.
Southend and Scunthorpe. Now, Scunthorpe are pulling away. Southend are not. And currently Grimsby are there, and I'd back Grimsby to go down. They've got Southend have got a few games in hand over them. They look dire, Grimsby, and I think they will be returning to non-league along with Southend. And then the playoffs, Bolton in fourth. That hasn't worked out well.
They seem to be in 19th. It seems to be a little bit of a gap there.
There's 15 places to where I initially predicted them.
To be fair, there is only a 10-11 goal difference.
Not too bad.
And there's still like half of the season to go. Wait, did I say goals? I meant points.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll reach the playoffs, unfortunately. No. Sorry, Ollie.
Ollie.
I think he knows it as well. I think Ollie knows it as well.
Yeah. And then 5th, 6th, and 7th, I had Forest Green, Exeter, Port Vale. Another club that's not making it is Port Vale. They are towards the bottom of the table and will not make it. And Exeter, I don't think will make the playoffs either. So my playoffs are going to be Cheltenham in 4th.
I know.
I think our phone wants to load the table. Yeah, Cheltenham 4th. Oh, Tranmere have made their way into the playoffs and could make a late surge up the table.
I don't see him being consistent.
I think Cheltenham, Newport, I don't think Salford will make it. Even though I predicted them to win the league, I don't think Salford will actually make it into the playoffs.
Do you not think?
No. Cambridge is the other team that I was thinking of as well.
Come on, Salford.
So Cambridge, Cheltenham, Morecambe, and Newport. I think that's my playoffs for League Two. It's hard. There's so many teams on different games and all of that, and it's quite inconsistent, and teams always doing quite well and losing. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. One team I don't think will be inconsistent is Carlisle. They have 4 games in hand over Cambridge and are only 3 points behind. So I think they shall be clear at the top of the league and win the league. I think Forest. Wait, hold on. Oh, no. I think it's going to be Forest Green in second. Okay, I'm going to go Carlisle, Forest Green, Cheltenham, Morecambe, Newport, Tranmere, Cambridge.
So Cambridge is
hard.
going to drop significantly, do you think?
I don't know the order. I don't know the order yet. It's so hard. There's so many games in hand. There's so many teams doing all right and all that.
The thing is, like League One and League Two, they don't manage in terms of they don't manage it as well with their fixtures. Where like if a team's got COVID and then obviously they skip a game or whatever, they don't manage it enough to go. Yeah, we're gonna make sure they play at like this point or whatever. They've just gone. Okay, yeah, this team won't play and then they won't play again and they won't play again and blah blah. So they're missing out. And like every other league as well, they all play more games than in the Premier League. There's more of a league, so they will obviously at some point be like, oh yeah, we've got 2 games in hand, whereas like all the Premier League teams, they've only got 1 game in hand because they've been well managed.
I will be able to say it finally, and we can move on to the next topic. My final League Two top of the table predictions are Carlisle in first, Forest Green, Cheltenham, Cambridge, Newport, Morecambe, Tranmere. Done.
Okay, sorted.
We've covered that. Mid-season predictions. Next, the 5 managers to get sacked in the Premier League, the top 5.
Nice.
I shall move over to my note sheets.
You said Premier League, right?
Premier League, and I'm going to rattle through Championship as well.
Okay.
And League One.
Well, I don't think Chris Wilder will get sacked because he's done amazing with Sheffield United. I don't see the point in sacking him. I don't think Sam Allardyce will get sacked, so he can be off the list. Graham Potter for Brighton, I don't know. Because he's good. He's found good players, but I don't know entirely. Sean Dyche for Burnley, no.
Let me start you off with my list for the Premier League. My number 1, I think everyone should probably have this, considering the atmosphere around the club. Steve Bruce.
I don't know.
Yeah, I obviously they got trying to get these new investors in, aren't they? And is that gone through yet? Is that a thing?
Don't know. No. I don't know about the ownership because I think Premier League blocks the Saudis to.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to get him.
Yeah, because they were trying it and then it didn't go through, and then after that, I don't know what's happened with it.
I think it's just gone dead. Nothing. It's not going to happen. They're not getting any more money.
Ashley will lose faith with Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they beat Everton 2-0 last week, and that was a very good performance. And then he came out and said, "Well, this is what happens when I have all my players." But let's be honest, he was only really missing St Maximin for a little while. And I mean, he played well, but I think it's only a ticking time bomb before he actually does go. And I think the players Newcastle do have are good, but I think they rely on Callum Wilson a bit too much. And
I think they're good enough to be higher up than they are.
Yeah, but I mean, Almiron's good, but he's not.
Dubravka's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Shaw's a good centre back.
Yeah,
they have St Maximin. Longstaff can play well when he's on form.
Yedlin's sick.
Yedlin, Callum Wilson now.
He's gone.
Dwight Gale had a good.
I didn't even know he's gone.
Good couple of seasons.
Yeah, he's gone on loan. He's gone to Galatasaray, I think, today.
I think they have Ryan Fraser.
Yeah, he's not bad. They got Matt Ritchie as well.
Yeah. The thing
Which
is,
is not.
they are good players, but they're not playing well together.
Yeah.
That's the
It-
issue. You can't have
just-
Wilson scoring all the goals. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that.
Well, I mean, they have 40 million Jolinton, but he's awful.
It's
It-
just no point.
Like the same with every team. It comes to a point where it's like, does the price of the player actually really matter too much in terms of your club? Like, is it worth going? You know what? We've made a mistake here, spending 40 million on him. Let's get rid of him for like 20 or 10. It comes about that point. I know most
Yeah.
teams are United
And
are
they've got
doing
a
it at
bit of dead weight as well up front. I mean, they've got Andy Carroll, but I think he's on a pay-as-you-play contract, so that's a bit different. And then they've obviously got Dwight Gale, and he's always injured, and it's just he does pop up with a goal here and there, makes it look like they're coming back, but then he gets injured again. So he was good
Okay.
at Palace.
Just to
Steve.
say, they before their win against Everton, they'd lost 5 in a row in the league.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
My number 2 choice. It's an interesting one, but considering what happened the last time they were in the Prem, Sam Allardyce.
I don't know. I don't
I
think.
don't
reason I
think
say
he'll get
this-
sacked.
When the
He's
West
just-
Brom were last in the Prem, they had Pulis and they sacked him. They brought in Pardew, and they had not a great run, and then they got rid of him again, and then had Darren Moore for the remainder of the season. Would West Brom do that again? They're quite trigger happy with their managers.
Yeah.
But
I don't
I
think he'd get sacked. I think if they went down, he would leave. Because he's not about that. He keeps teams up, or he'll leave before they go down. So then he's like, I haven't brought a team down. But I don't think they'll sack him. I think he'll leave. That's just my opinion.
I don't think he'll leave. I
Well,
reckon
even
he
if they
might.
go down, I don't think he'd stay there. I don't think.
he
I mean,
wouldn't stay.
he's been complaining about, we need a 2-week break, like cycle thing for COVID, and he was like, I'm worried about my, health and stuff. Well, don't take on the job then if you're concerned about things like that. I know you probably want, you've been given a bonus if they stay up. I read like he's gonna get a 2 million bonus if they stay up or whatever. But I just don't think. I just don't think they'll sack him. I don't think there's any need. I think he's the right man for the job, but he needs players, and at the moment he's brought in Snodgrass, and
That's a good one.
it's a good signing. But I think they need more people. I think they need another centre half. But
I don't know. Bartley's not bad, and Semi Ajayi is a beast.
yeah, but they like to play three at the back. I think with 2 wing backs. I might be wrong there, but
Yeah.
I mean they got Ivanovic, but he hasn't really settled in too well, which is a shame.
He's good anyway.
I mean, we've seen how many goals they've leaked, and obviously it's all right saying Ajayi and Bartley are good, but if you can see the most goals in the Prem, it can't be that good.
I don't know. Yeah, it could
I mean,
be just a
Ajayi's
system.
good. Don't get me wrong. I think he could play for a better team, but I've never rated Carl Bartley, regardless of what team he's played for.
No, he's only quite good. He's had good performances. But, like, some of it you can't really put it down to just the defense. You can pull it out into the system as well they're playing, because they are very exposed at the back.
When did Sam Allardyce come into
November
Yeah.
time.
November? Right. If we look at the since the start of November, 2-0 against Fulham, beat them 2-0. Tottenham beat them 1-0. Man U 1-0. They lost. They beat Sheffield. They lost 5-1 to Crystal Palace. 3-0 to Aston Villa. They lost. They lost 5-0 to Leeds. 4-0 to Arsenal. Fair enough. They beat Wolves 3-2. But
Yeah,
They
again,
were really good that game.
They've been conceding a lot more goals, I feel, since Sam came in.
yeah. Sam has exposed them at the back.
Like, I don't know. I feel like Sam Allardyce has been out of management for a while, so I don't know. It was kind of a long shot with him whether it would work or not, and it just hasn't.
If you thought 2 was interesting, wait till number 3.
Oh,
Go on,
God.
what's number 3 then? What's 3? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I've got my top 5 as well.
Get ready. Nuno.
Yeah, I had him as number 3 as well.
You had Nuno.
Yeah, I've got the same three as you so far.
I mean,
Reason why they have like the same form as Burnley, I think, or nearly the same form as Newcastle. 6 wins, 5 losses, 5 draws, 10 losses. They are meant to be challenging for the Champions League or be in the Europa League. I don't think the owners will be happy with that. No. I think they'll want to get rid and try and get a better manager in to push for the top 4.
Portuguese players, and then he's missing Jimenez as well. That's the key factor.
Yeah.
I mean, at the start of the season, they lost 4-0 to West Ham. They shouldn't be losing that. They shouldn't be losing by that much against West Ham.
I mean, West Ham were dominant. Let's be honest, West Ham have been amazing. I wouldn't take it away
that's fair. But I mean, when we first started the season, we were looking at those sort of teams, those sort of games after the previous season. We should not be seeing a 4-0 loss to West Ham. No. The third game in to the Wolves season. Well, 4-0 against Liverpool. I guess Liverpool haven't had a strong side though in terms of defence. So I would have thought Wolves could have at least scored against them. I think they're really missing Jimenez in the form of a striker.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think that's a hard one. I don't
think there's somebody on the end of these passes to be able to do what he does and just finish them.
Because the thing is, they got rid of Jota, and we've all seen Jota can play left wing, or he can play centre forward. And the thing is, if they'd kept him, he would have been great right now to fit in the system.
He would have, yeah. I feel like he could have been doing a job in striker for them as a backup to Jimenez. But they sold him. And I think there's a lot of things that have gone wrong for Wolves this season, and that injury was one of them. I mean, most recent game they lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I know losing Jimenez is massive. To be fair, with the Crystal Palace game, we did tell them to play that formation. We did. Roy listened, and that worked well. Yeah. But no, I think going back to Nuno, and obviously losing Jimenez is a massive blow. Like arguably their best player. But then you got to think he spent like 30-40 million on this Silva guy, and when you spend that money on a backup striker, you expect him to come in and do a job when your main striker's injured. And obviously that hasn't worked. And now they've got this guy on loan from Real Sociedad. And I think it'd be interesting to see how he kicks on having that role and the pressure on him. Because I think the players around him in like Neto and Podence are good. Traore is just not performing. We know he hasn't scored in God knows how long. He's Vaselined his arms more than goals. And the back three, he's not playing Saiz, and now Saiz has been injured. Yeah. I just think there's just a lot of, and obviously you've got Matinho and Neves, you've got Dendoncker. I really rate Dendoncker. I think he's very good.
I mean, yeah, they've got Cody as well. Cody was playing brilliantly.
Yeah, but they're not defending too well. There's something going wrong. The solid back line that we've seen of Wolves from last season, this season,
they need to stop playing far at the back.
Really changed. I mean, they got Semedo at right wing back, which is the change. Now, I don't think defensively he's that great. Going forward, he's good.
He played left wing back against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I mean, we drew 0-0 to them, and they were poor. I mean, they had that one chance.
And you only had an hour with your manager.
Yeah.
So
we could have won. We should have won. We had the ball that much, and we had some good chances. But I think that there comes a time where you make up excuses for why they're not playing well. But
on average, they've only scored a goal a game.
It's not good enough, even with the replacement striker and now another replacement striker.
I would like to just put it out there. What you said by replacement striker. So obviously there is Willian Jose, who's come from Real Sociedad. He is a proven player in the La Liga. Don't know how he will do in the Prem. Then obviously you said about the youngster they've got, which is Fabio Silva. And I'd like to put it out there, Fabio Silva is actually younger than both me and Braxton.
Yeah, but I do get that, and he's young and he needs to adapt like a lot of other players that haven't done so. But it's a similar situation with Werner, but we've got players that can replace him and can score goals. And when you put this amount of money on a young kid, I think it's a lot of pressure.
Do you mean you've got players that can score and Werner's there just in case, but he won't score them anyway?
No, but what I'm trying to say is we've spent like 40-50 million on Werner, And if he was our only striker that we had to rely on, then it would become a big issue like it is now for Wolves. But because we've got Tammy and Giroud, which are our 2 top goal scorers, respectively, and whatever, we can rely on them. But Wolves don't have that now with Jimenez injured. They're relying on this young kid to get these goals that is very young, no experience. I think that's a lot of pressure. And I know you're not going to predict that your big striker is going to get injured, but now it has happened, and now they've had to bring somebody else in. I think, this William Jose needs to kick on and get a few goals. Otherwise, Nuno's going to be in a lot of trouble.
I think they have a good age range in the squad as well. Like they've got most players are like 24, like in their main squad, except for the odd like João Moutinho who's 34, and then obviously Rui Patricio who's 32. But they do have a good like selection of younger players who can like probably progress and have are going to have the potential to be a lot better than what they are right now. So I think even with like their torrid season this season, if they can get if they get a new manager, that in a few seasons they might be a lot better than what they are, as long as they can hang on to those younger players.
I don't think they need to get a new manager. The thing is, Nuno has done so well with the club already, and then and on top of that, obviously, you can't predict that Jimenez is going to get injured, and it is kind of his fault that he got rid of his backup striker. It's not his fault his backup striker turned into a beast, but it is his fault he's got rid of his backup striker. But like getting Fabio Silva in, Fabio Silva is a player that's like 1 in a million. Like you will struggle to find him, and him playing in the Premier League right now doesn't work for him because he's only ever known like Portuguese football. And the way they play football in Portugal is way different to the way they play in England. So like, and obviously you're saying about your youngsters, if you got Abby, but your youngsters are what, Billy Gilmore and Mason Mount, that consistently play in the Prem, but these lot have been playing English football the whole time. So they know how most teams play, whereas Fabio Silva's come straight from Porto.
To be fair to William Jose's only played like a game and a half.
Yeah, he needs time.
He needs a little bit of time. So they've chucked him straight in. He's not got used to it yet.
Should we do number 4 and number 5 of mine?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, these were just guesses. I doubt either two of them will get sacked, but number 4 is Arteta and number 5 is Scott Parker.
No.
I think with Arteta, I keep saying this and I stick by it. I don't think he's the issue. I think Edu is. I think Edu's an issue at the club. If we look
there's a lot of issues at that club.
Yeah, I think if we look at, especially if I'm looking at the signings, realistically, Arsenal 2's best players have been their centre back Gabriel and Partey, their centre defensive mid. That's who I see is who's been performing at a consistent level for the club. Who are they both signed by? Who made those decisions? Arteta. We look at the likes of Willian, who is Edu's responsibility.
How do you know that?
Oh, well, I've obviously seen.
Arteta wanted William, you know.
Arteta's stupid then.
He wanted William, and I'm going to disagree with it here. This might be a bit controversial, but Gabriel did start well. Don't get me wrong, he started well, but he doesn't play him now. He's been playing Louise and Holding.
I hate Louise.
Louise has, weirdly enough, he's brought that structure back in the defence, and I think Holding has just come out of nowhere and just he only came in because Gabriel had COVID or got injured, one of the two, and now he's kept his place, and Gabriel is now not playing. As you say, Partey has been brilliant. I think him and Xhaka played really well together in the middle. I think they complement each other so well. My managers that I put down, I put down Roy Hodgson, as we discussed last week.
Yeah, he's getting a bit on the old side, but I don't know. I think it depends how long's left on his contract, whether they'll just fire him or whether they'll be like, you can just stay to the end of the contract, and then we're not hiring you anymore because you need to go lie down, mate. You need to go chill.
I think they just need a bit something a little bit different. I know he listened to us last week and changed formation, but I think they need a bit more energy. I just think they did a little bit more inject a bit more energy into the club. It just seems to be a bit down all the time. I don't know what it is.
Old manager, old players don't work well.
I agree.
Zaha's young, Eze's young.
I also
Reed
put
Hall is young.
Mourinho down.
Jose Mourinho.
I was a bit, he had last season, and now this is his season with his players, and I think they've got a good enough squad to actually challenge for the title. I mean, they're currently in sixth with one game in hand on the teams above, and we're below them on the same amount of games. But obviously, we play them this Thursday.
They're also missing Harry Kane though. That's their problem.
Yeah, but you say that. I mean, they're a good enough team with enough money to have a backup striker, and they've got what's his face, Vinicius, who came on yesterday and did nearly score. But I think for a big team like Spurs, which I would consider a top 6 team, you have to have a backup striker of good quality. And obviously, United have got Cavani, Martial, Man City have got Jesus, Aguero, Liverpool have got Firmino, and then they can move Salah there and put Jota on the wing, etc. But I think Spurs don't have that, and I think he's brought in Højbjerg, which I think he's been absolutely brilliant this season. I think he's really, really good for them. But I think if Spurs don't finish top 4, I think that could be a bit of an issue.
Nah.
Because I know you might be like, nah, but I didn't know who else to put in my top 5. I didn't know who else to put.
I mean, yeah, it's a weird one.
It's a weird one because he's at a good enough club, I think, that should be top 4 with the players he has. But his defence is solid, but not of recent. They've lost two games in the last 4 days. I think pressure could be building especially if we beat them on Thursday. I think pressure will start to mount on Spurs, and I don't think Mourinho will like that, or will the club, because the owner doesn't have much patience for things like that. Brand new stadium, it's a hard one because I don't think you can get a better manager than Mourinho for a club like Spurs, but at the same time, they're a bit like Chelsea in a way of instant success, and they need that Champions League football.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, can I just ask quickly, for this 5 managers that we're doing, does this include managers that are leaving as well? Are we including managers like they leave instead of getting sacked? Are we including that as well?
I was thinking just more of getting sacked, who's on poor form, not who's more likely to leave. But if you've got a shout of who's likely to leave,
who's likely to leave? I've got is Bielsa, because he said he will leave. He wanted to leave at the end. He wanted to leave at the end of last season. But obviously, he had a discussion with his own family and stuff like that, and the club owners, and they're like, "Well, you've got us to the Prem after 16 years, so you're clearly a good manager." And they're like, "We want to see you in the Prem." But I feel like this will be his last season, and I think he's going to leave because he said he wanted to, and I feel like it is the time for him to leave now. He's good, but I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird one.
I'd like him to stay.
It's unusual for him to stay so long, to be honest, because he's had very short stints. But yeah,
everywhere he's been, he's only had 1 or 2 seasons. Here at Leeds, he's had 3, I think. I think this is his 3rd season now. Because he had 1 with them, and then he had 1 where he bottled promotion. Then he had his next one where he got promoted, and then obviously there's this one now. So yeah,
I think that's an interesting one. I think it's like he injects his philosophy into the team, does what he needs to do to build him up for the future, then goes to a different club. I like him. I'd like him to stay another season if there wasn't a chance for him to do so. I think he really benefits the Premier League and benefits Leeds as well.
I love watching Leeds in the Prem.
I thought they were fantastic yesterday. I thought they were absolutely brilliant.
They're just so attacking. That's what everyone wants to see. Like, even
I rate them.
We played them. Okay, yeah, we did beat them by a significant amount. But even then, that game was probably the best game I've watched in years because both teams went attacking, and that's what I want to see. Like both teams pushing. Even against Newcastle, Newcastle tried to sit back and in the first game, and they got punished in the first game completely. Lost 5-2. Even first game week as well, Liverpool tried pushing on them at the start, and they got taken back. Like, wait, what is this going on here? Because Jack Harrison spring at them, Helder Costa spring at them as well. Even you had Ayling and Dallas both pushing up on the wings, and Liverpool were just caught with their kegs down, to be honest.
Yep.
Fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, they've team that has good performances and maybe doesn't get the results out of them. Anyways, this podcast is going on for a while, so I'm going to leave out my other championship, League One and League Two. I'll just say for League One, Glyn Hodges, who did get sacked at the weekend, I didn't have him on my top 5. And I'd probably change my League Two top 5 as well, because there's a few managers I think could move up, and I think there's a few that would stay at the club. But it's transfer deadline day today.
Yeah,
it is indeed.
Yeah, 1st of February.
There's a few things happening, isn't there?
Do you want
Damare Gray's gone.
Yeah, he's not going to Palace.
He's gone. Hodgson didn't listen to me. I said he should have snapped him up for 2.5
But
mil,
will he
which is
get-
an bargain.
Steal.
Will he get Way?
He's good though.
Way. Maybe in the summer, but
Absolute steal for 2.5 mil. I think that's too little. But he did only have 6 months left on his contract, so that could explain the fee. Chelsea won't do nothing. We might loan out Gilmore. That's the only rumour that we currently have circling around. There's a rumour that he might be off to Brentford on loan for the rest of the season, which I think would be a really good move considering the position that they're in. I think he could jump straight into that team. Mind you, the consistency and the current team that they have are doing really well, but I think he could jump straight in, and I think he's a great player.
Speaking of Brentford. Speaking of Brentford, they've just signed Winston Reid on loan to the end of the season.
Nice.
I think that adds a good bit of experience at the back. Of Premier League experience that should
West
push
Ham,
up the table. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reid and Janssen at the back now.
Yeah.
Two solid.
Brown, you had some stuff to say, didn't you?
I did, but looking at it now and speaking, obviously I'm in my family group chat and they burst about Southampton the whole time, and it just seems like they were spurting out rubbish. So there was one. This is my uncle, so he wasn't very reliable. That's all I said. He said that we are going to sign Josh King, and Shane Long's going the other way. Looking at there's a guy called Adam Blackmore, who's like a Radio Solent sort of guy. He's posted on his Twitter that there's a lot of rubbish stories going on transfer deadline day, a bit like the Joshua King one. So I was like, right. And I've just found out that we were going to go for Maitland-Niles, but because he was unsure about coming to us and possibly playing out of position because we would want him to play as a fullback because of Kyle Walker-Peters. He was unsure about it, so because it was taking too long, we just were like, nah, we don't want him. If he's going to be like this, can't be bothered. So we're apparently going to look at other targets between now and 11 p.m. Another target that I heard, Gilmore on loan, but I think he's most likely going to stay at Chelsea. But we'll see.
I think we might loan him. He doesn't even get in the squad. The last 2 squads under Tuchel, he hasn't been in them.
I think our priority is going to be some depth in the fullback positions, though. So I don't know.
True. I mean, you need a left back. You can't keep playing third.
Brandon Williams was an option. That's just gone out the window. But I don't know. I don't know who we could sign. Although we can only loan one more player. And I'd prefer that to be a right back because Bertrand hardly ever gets injured. If he's out of a game, it's because he's suspended. That's it. He doesn't get injured. He's a fit player. So I think the main person we need is possibly a right back. But I don't know. As a Southampton fan, I know that we're not ones for panic buying or panic loans or anything like that. So I personally think we're not going to have any activity in between now and 11. Don't see it happening.
I think the same with Man U. I don't think is there not a lot happening at Man U? It sounds like
I read about you're possibly interested in Kunde.
Well, yeah. See, the thing is, United is always the same old stuff. We're always interested in every single player possible. I don't know why. It always is, and we all know all United fans on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they're all very good at photoshopping players into United shirts and going, "Yep, this is our new transfer," whatever. Realistically, in terms of what I've heard about, there hasn't really been much for senior squad other than obviously I've heard about Koundé, but senior squad wise, I've heard not much. Under like 23s, I've heard there's quite a bit going about in terms of signing foreign players. Obviously, we've just signed Amad Diallo. He's finally come. 40 million. Great signing. Very young. We've also had Palestri as well. Very good. He's made an instant impact in our under 23s. But other than that, really, there's not been much going about. But I would like us to sign a new centre back, because the thing is, we've got a burden on our hands, which is obviously Harry Maguire, and the question is, do we keep playing him, or has it come to the point now where we stop using him? Because we've got Lindelof, who's been playing amazing. He has been playing really well. We've now got Eric Bailly back from his small injuries that he keeps consistently getting, but he's back now. He hasn't had an injury in a long time, and he is performing very well. Played against Aston Villa, he played amazing. Played against Burnley, he played amazing. So it's now finding a partnership at the moment with what we can do. If we stop playing Maguire and start playing Lindelof and Bailly, and them two work out well, then yeah, fair enough. But if United's goal is to keep playing Maguire, then we need someone a lot quicker than obviously Harry Maguire, because he is a big burden on our hands at the moment.
I think it's tough because when we look at, for example, Chelsea, they obviously, I think I read somewhere that Frank Lampard obviously wanted a new keeper because
Kepa
is rubbish. Yeah. But Chelsea board are like, he's the most expensive goalkeeper. We're not buying you a new one now. You can't, because that would just be a waste of money basically. So I'm not sure if like Man United are on a similar board to that. Obviously, they
pretty
tend
much,
to be. Yeah. So I don't know if they'll be that, like Solskjaer might be like, I want a new centre back. Maguire's rubbish. They'll just be like, well, we've paid 80 mil or something for him. You have to use him.
The thing is, money isn't an issue. Though. Money's not an issue.
I know it isn't, but I think it's more about the principle behind it, isn't it? Because you can't spend that much money on a player just for you to go, yeah, we can't use him. Yeah. He's rubbish. Get rid of him. Let's make a 80 mil loss on him.
Right. The kind of thing is though that we said we needed a centre back. Ollie said we needed a centre back, but he'd never suggested Maguire. We just got Maguire as a panic buy because like, oh yeah, you know what he did really well with Leicester. Let's just get him. Mm-hmm. When we did that, it's not worked out. We've had him. I can't even remember how many seasons we've had him now. He's just not been good in any season we've had. He's had on and off games, very inconsistent. He's very good in the air, but that's about it. We don't have much from him. In our game against Tottenham when we lost 6-1, that game he was so disorganized. Like everyone's seen the clip where he's pulled Luke Shaw away from the ball. Everyone's seen that clip. Everyone knows about it. It's stuff like that where it's like, it can't happen anymore. You can't be having an 80 million pound defender doing stuff like that. There's no point. I'd rather count our losses and just bring someone else in. It's gotten to that point.
So over at my end, not a lot's happening at Reading. I don't think we'll sign anyone. Apparently just heard that Lewis Gibson, our lonely centre-back from Everton, could go back to them if he doesn't get enough game time. So I'm just going to cover some general transfer news that's coming out recently. That Dele Alli to PSG is not happening. It collapsed. Schalke on the verge of signing Mustafi, and he'll replace Kabak, who's apparently heading to Liverpool. Anything else?
The Preston guy as well, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Ben Davies, yeah, apparently that's the...
So what do you think about, they're going to sign 2 centre-halves?
I think they need to.
Both loans though. One's a loan, one's a buy. I think.
I mean, they've had a period now where they've got no Van Dijk, no Gomez, and they've been playing Fabinho, Henderson, and Matip. They've been swapping those three around.
Yeah,
And the
and now
thing is-
Fabinho and Matip is injured, so now they've
Yeah.
got that Williams and Henderson there. So.
The thing is, Williams is good. He's good, but the thing is, he's too inexperienced, and he showed in the United game in the FA Cup. Rashford was running rings around him, absolutely demolished him. And like, the thing is, if you're coming up against someone like Rashford, because there's loads of players in the Premier League that are like Rashford. Obviously, they're not of the same quality, but they're like him. We've got St. Maximin's out there. You've got Mahrez, he's out there as well. Sterling, Ferran Torres. You're coming up against Harvey Barnes, who's actually pretty good with his feet. Maddison, Grealish. I can just keep going on and on. You've got all these kinds of players, and the thing is, you need a centre back who's going to deal with it. So obviously Williams won't fit in. I think it is time they need two new centre backs. Realistically, I think it is time.
Yeah.
Apparently, the reason that Spurs aren't gonna loan Ali out is because they can't find a replacement. What's the point? He didn't play anyway.
He doesn't play, yeah.
What do you need a replacement for? A bench player or a
The thing
reserve
is-
player? Sorry, he's more of a reserve player now.
Can I just say, Dele Alli is. I didn't mind him at the start. He was good. The part I didn't like about him is he got too
He's lazy.
complacent. Yeah,
He's
he
lazy.
got too complacent. He's lazy, and then he comes up with his whole excuse. Oh, it's because I'm older now. My body can't do what it used to do. And when he said that, he was 24. When you're 24, that's your prime, and like you haven't got an excuse. If you're 24,
I would argue your prime's at 28.
nah.
I
27
would
to
say
29, I think.
I would say most football's 28.
It just depends. It depends on the player. But the thing is, like,
24 years old. He was born in 1996. What's he
Yeah.
doing? Smoking?
Well, if
see, the
that's
thing
his
is,
prime, then he might as well just retire now.
Yeah, he might as well just go to China, get a load of money, and just go away.
every player is either, if they peak, most players either really peak early or they peak about the 28 range, or so in some cases that we've seen, there are players who peak early and consistently stay good. But the thing is, Dele Alli, he obviously because of his work rate, he just hasn't stayed up there. Like it's even the same. Ricardo Quaresma, everyone said Ricardo Quaresma is better than Ronaldo and stuff like that. But he was just so lazy. That's the only reason why he's stuck where
It is just a difference between like the players. Dele Alli is just not good, just because of this work rate. Like if he's saying that, oh, my body can't do it anymore. No, that's not your body saying it's just because you don't have the mentality. It's because you can't be asked to do it. That is why. It's nothing to do with your body. It's to do with your mindset, and you've got a crap one. You just shouldn't be in football.
I would rather stick Braxton as centre mid than Dele Alli.
Cheers.
Honestly.
And
he's a goalkeeper.
He shows the heart. He shows passion. That's what I want. I'd
to
put
be
Braxton
fair,
in.
I think I'd do all right in midfield. I've got.
Yeah,
I
I've
reckon
got a little bit of an eye for pass.
I reckon any one of us could get into a team over Dele Alli based on having a higher work rate than him.
I probably won't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm quite lazy in defending.
And
If
you're
you tell me
easy.
to defend, I'm not getting back.
No, fully. I bet you I could get into a team if I somehow got into Tottenham. I could get into a team over Dele Alli. That's it. I'm a new centre mid, guys.
You signing?
See you
Yeah.
later.
I mean,
Yeah.
Look on transfer deadline day. Get looking here. It's in a bit.
He's actually going. Other deals. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, Man City's defender, joined Blackburn. I think there's a Braga centre back that was also interesting for Liverpool, but it looks like Kabak's going to join. I think it's about everything.
I've got
What
a few
about,
things on Newcastle just before we round up. Like coming out now that Joe Willock might go to
Yeah, I just
Newcastle
saw that.
on
Ash.
loan. They want what's his name, Chowdhury from Leicester, but because
Yeah,
of the
Hazard Chowdhury.
injuries to Pratt and Ndidi, that could be a bit of a slippery slope at the moment. And then at the moment, I think Matt Ritchie might be on his way out to Bournemouth on loan because Dan Gosling has just joined Watford for the rest of the season, which I think is quite an interesting transfer between two rivals. But Gosling obviously wasn't playing a lot. But yeah, Newcastle look like they're going to have a busy day. And Brown's on his way to Spurs.
I think Leicester also joins the race for Maitland-Niles, but I think like South is going to pull out of Southampton.
Yeah.
And
oh, he's on the phone.
They couldn't meet my demands on my wages.
Oh,
It wasn't good enough.
how much
what
did
did
they
you
offer?
ask for?
They offered me 50 quid a week. I said no, I want at least 1,000.
Wow.
Just backed out. I don't know
Wow.
why they backed out. It just made no sense to me.
They're taking the piss.
I heard something going around. I heard a rumor going around. I don't think it's true. There was a rumor going around that apparently Leeds will officially sign Jack Harrison now. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to wait till the end of the year.
Yeah, they will. They'll wait.
I don't know why. People have just been raving about it on Twitter, and I thought it's something to mention up. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
What's that? Riggy Bogger Johnson could be joining Liverpool. Really?
Ricky Bugger Johnson.
How much?
Oh my god.
50 million. Oh wow. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you.
I've heard he came first at the World Poo Eat Championships.
Oh no,
Two-time-
man. Anyways.
Two-time champion.
Oh my god.
Oh, we've got to get him included. You know, his FIFA cards right here as well.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, well,
my
this is
God.
what singing at a call for 2 hours does to us. We turn insane.
Yeah. We
Anyways,
Oh.
predictions for the weeks next game week.
do. Yeah. Game week
Yeah.
22. Big
We'll
game.
quickly get through this because it's like nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone's still with us, but thank you. I'll go with a Chelsea 2-0 victory against Spurs
Okay.
Nice.
on Thursday.
I think 0-0, but okay.
I think it's going to be a 1-0.
I'll always be 2-1. I don't think Spurs are going to go without a goal.
No, I think they will go with that goal. I think it's going to be 0-0. No Harry Kane. No assist or goal for him. So nothing.
Okay.
All right. We've got Wolves Arsenal. That'll be an interesting one.
Arsenal.
1-0.
Arsenal.
1-0, yeah.
I'm going
2-1
2-0 Arsenal. I'm going 2-0 Arsenal. Man U Southampton. The battle of
We're winning.
2-1 United.
2-1 Southampton.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you, Braxton.
2-1 Southampton.
Thank you.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Sheffield United West Brom relegation battle.
1-0 Sheffield United.
Yeah, McGoldrick.
2-0 Sheffield United. Go on, Brian Wiggins.
I'll go with 2-1. I think West Brom might sneak a goal in.
Newcastle Palace.
3-1
Palace.
Crystal Palace.
Palace 2-0.
I've just put
1-1.
Zaha as my captain.
1-1. Callum Wilson goal.
2-1 Palace.
Nice.
Burnley Man City. 5-0 Man City, please.
Yep.
Please.
I can agree with that.
I'm going to go 10-0 Man City. Break the record.
Oh, I don't think it'll be 10-0. I reckon it's going to be 2-0. That's my prediction, 2-0.
I'm still going to back a 5-0 Man City.
Yeah.
Burnley going to sit back.
Fulham Leicester. 2-0 Leicester. I think they'll bounce back from the Leeds result.
Yeah.
0-0 draw.
Maybe 2-1. Maybe 2-1. I reckon 2-1.
2-0.
0-0 draw.
I like my draws.
It'd be
Right.
bored.
Leeds Everton. 3-1 Leeds. I think we'll have another 3-1.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah. I
I
can
think-
agree with that.
I think
Yeah, you know what? I'll back that. I'll
after
back
winning against Leicester, I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
I just say Patrick Bamford is not scoring because he's in my team.
He never scores at home, pretty much.
As
He
long
always
as
scores away.
as long as Everton keep playing, I don't even
Badly.
care what a goalkeeper's name is anymore. It's just
Pickford.
rubbish. Yeah, as long as they play that piece of rubbish, they're going to keep conceding. So
Nice, cool. We got Villa West Ham.
West Ham.
1-1.
I'm
Yeah,
back into
1-1.
2-2.
1-1.
2-1 Suchek brace.
Liverpool Brighton.
No, Liverpool.
Liverpool 2-0.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. And that's it for this game week. There's the next game week at the weekends.
Mhm.
Just one last thing before we conclude. Who do you reckon will be the king of the game week? So, which player do you reckon will get the most FPL points in this Premier League game week?
Wilf Zaha.
You reckon Zaha? Brown?
Danny Ings is going to score a hat trick, so I'm going to go with. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Danny Ings is going to get 1 goal, and the main man who's going to get 2 goals and 1 assist is Ward-Prowse. He's going to score a free kick against you.
You're saying Ward-Prowse king of the game week?
Yeah. Ward-Prowse.
Blackstone?
Riggy Bog Johnson. Hat trick on his debut.
We're saying this, but it's going to be Diaz, isn't it, against Burnley?
Yeah, probably. Probably to
I
get
don't know.
clean sheet, and he'll probably score somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was probably gonna go with Antonio.
Fair
I reckon he
play
could bag
against Aston Villa.
a few against Villa.
Are you saying this just because you're in control of West Ham on FM?
Nah.
We don't have Antonio. We have McGoldrick.
McGoldrick's 2 goals.
Oh yeah, I'll go McGoldrick for Sheffield United. I think he'll score.
My gosh.
Yes. Oh my god.
I think he'll score one of the goals when they play West Brom. I think he'll bag.
You know what? I will send an email personally to Ole and say, look, the player we need is McGoldrick. He's the only striker we need. He fits. Okay, he doesn't fit our system, but we can fit a system around him. He's good. We need
Oh
him.
my god.
No.
We need someone who's going to consistently score. We can't play Martial up top. We can't play Rashford up top. And Cavani's just not consistent. So, yeah, McGoldrick.
Jesus.
Right then.
McGoldrick and consistency, I don't think fit in the same sentence.
No.
And that's it for this podcast. That is.
We'll leave it on
everything.
that note with McGoldrick.
Am I outroing?
Go for it, yeah.
Right. Well, big news for this week. This podcast will be available on Spotify when I sort it out,
But
as well as YouTube, so you can see our faces.
Get in.
Easy
Thank you
win.
for tuning in. I hope you're still tuned in at this point, because this has been a very long session. And wish me luck for my TCA in.
Is it
2
half 4?
hours.
Is it half 4?
Half 4.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Alice has got the same one.
Yeah, bit of human anatomy and physiology. But that's
Yeah.
it. That's it for this week of On the Bench, episode 8. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.